Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a little process video for you today. I'm going to be creating a journal to work through Junk Journal January. This is a challenge that is hosted by Meg Journals, and I think this month or this year she's got Get Messy Art, I think is the other one that's collaborating with her. I will try to put some links down below if you're interested in that. I know that Meg has some information on her channel about this. I have participated in Junk Journal July and Junk Journal January. They're kind of sister challenges. And they're just a lot of fun. And I decided this month I'm going to go kind of small. I'm going to work pretty small. There is a prompt list that comes out, and there's plenty of inspiration and videos and stuff that you can watch. So be sure to check out Meg's channel because you can get all of that information there. Find her on Instagram, all the links to the challenge, and there's even some free printables this month or for this time. So if you're interested in that. But when I was creating a little ephemera holder the other day, I cut some paper that I thought I was going to use, and I cut it down to the wrong size. And so I ended up having all of these book pages that are just left over. And so I am going to use these in my Junk Journal January process. So I just have a couple different old books here that I had trimmed them down, and I trimmed them to the wrong size. And so what I'm going to use actually is an envelope. This actually came in my A House of Books subscription. So this is going to make up my cover. It's going to just be a little soft cover journal, super simple. This is actually the leftover paper from that sheet that I used to create that other journal. And I don't want it to go to waste, and it's just so beautiful. I love the pens and everything, the script on it. So I'm going to actually put this on the inside of my journal, and then this beautiful map is going to be the outside cover. So this is just a 12 by 12, and it's kind of a thinner paper, so I think it will cover this envelope pretty easily. And so I'm just gonna put you on fast forward. Like I said, I've already cut these down. You can make your journal whatever size you want to. I just didn't really want to have cut these and then just have them sit around. So I'm gonna put these to work for January. So I'm gonna put you on fast forward and make this little journal. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is trim down this 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Fortunately, it's going to cover this envelope pretty well from side to side, so I only have to trim off a little bit of that. And then I just really loved this kind of vintage map look. And so I'm just measuring this out, and I'm going to use double-sided adhesive here. This is the scrapbook.com version. I'm not using a liquid adhesive, especially for this particular journal, because this envelope is really thin, as is the paper that I'm covering it in. And so if I was to use liquid adhesive, I was really afraid it would buckle or bubble, and just really not a good medium for this particular project. But I am going to kind of center this on here and then pull out that release paper, stick everything down. I did decide to do the flap separate, so I added some of the smaller double-sided adhesive that I have and glued that down just in the same way. I will wrap that around that flap section as well. I am cutting a couple little notches here. This is right where that fold is going to be from that flap, and then getting rid of some of the excess around the corners, just like I would do any cover that that I was wrapping. So, but because this paper is pretty thin, and also because the envelope that I'm working with is rather thin, it's not like one of the heavyweight like manila ones, it's pretty thin. I'm gonna go take a little bit of time here. I'm gonna go around each edge with my bone folder, and I'm also folding it ahead of time. This is just going to make sure that I'm folding it right up next to the envelope, but not like causing the edge of the envelope to curl. I just didn't want to have, a bubble or something like that from where I folded it on itself. So I just took a little extra time to do that. And then I'm trying to figure out how I want to cover this flap. Decided to cut off a little bit of the excess here on the corners, and I'm just going to sort of fold these in and then fold the tops down. I did end up kind of squaring it off just a little bit because, the flap of this envelope is rounded, but not like completely rounded. So this was kind of the easiest way, I'll say, to cover it. So I just kind of squared it up on the corners, which is totally fine. And then I'm going to fold it over, use my bone folder for all of these creases. And you can see there was a little bit excess that I needed to trim out. So I just cut that. And then I'm going to actually, on this section only, use some liquid adhesive just because I'm kind of dealing with both of these flaps and everything. And I didn't want the double-sided adhesive to be exposed or whatever. So for the general cover, I didn't really want to use this liquid adhesive, but for this one little section, it worked out okay. And then I'm just going to press everything down with my bone folder just to make sure it's nice and secure. And then I will go back in with my double-sided adhesive on these long pages, or the top and the bottom, and just do that same process where I'm take the release paper off, and then I'm going to fold that. I did add a little bit right here in this corner, just where I somehow missed getting some adhesive over there. So and then you can see I'm just being very gentle when I fold this over to make sure that it's going to cover it well. And then now I'm going to just fold it in half. I'm going to use my bone folder, just get a really good crease here. This is where my my signature is going to get sewn into. And then I have the little flap for the pocket that is going to be formed. And I want that pocket because I'm going to put my my prompt list for Junk Journal January is going to go in there. And there's also some printables, some ephemera that they have included this month or for this time. And so I will print those out and put those in there so that I can use them during the month as I choose to do that. So what you see me doing here is just covering the inside. So I trimmed down that other piece of paper, and I love this paper with these beautiful pens on it. And so I'm lining that up right with the edge of the opening of the envelope there. And then again, just very carefully taking my bone folder in that crease. And it's a little bit stubborn, we'll say, at this particular time. I will end up putting this under some heavy books for a while just to kind of train that spine to close the way that I want it to. But for right now, I want to finish covering the inside of this. I kind of wasn't sure how I wanted to cover it, but I decided to just kind of extend this same pattern paper onto the inside flap. I did have enough of that paper to do that. So I kind of just traced the edge of the envelope where it kind of tapers in, and I trimmed it down just a little bit. And I am using liquid adhesive here because I don't want to have any double-sided adhesive exposed because it would end up messing up the actual little pocket there. So I am going to use some magnets to keep that little flap closed. These are not necessarily they're pretty thin, but it does add a little bulk on there. So if that's not something you're interested in, you could, do something else or just leave it open, but I will be doing that. But for now, I want to add in my signature. So again, these are the pages that I had previously cut. I had cut them wrong for another project, and so I'm just going to use them here. I can always add extra paper to them if I want to make them bigger or whatever, but I am using this book cradle. You could use just a book open to the center. I have a heavy duty awl here that I'm punching the holes. If you want to measure these out, you could certainly do that. I didn't. I just kind of eyeballed it. So I went for a hole in the center, and then, a hole maybe an inch down from the top and the bottom of the signature. And then I'm using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch to tie this in. I have gone over a 3-hole pamphlet stitch many times on my channel. It's a very simple stitch. You can find all kinds of videos for that, but it will be just an easy way to kind of tie to, get this signature in there. It's a really quick way to put a signature in. It's my preferred method, really. And then I'm just tying a knot here in the center, and then I'm going to leave these, I left these strings long, but I'm going to tie them in a bow for right now. I may trim them down later. I may leave them, I don't know, but for now they're just in a little bow. And I am going to now use these magnets to create my closure for the flap of this envelope. So I'm just kind of putting the two pieces out here. I measured the center of the flap, and I'm using a heavy duty glue here. So I'm using my Helmar 450 Quick Dry. Something like Fabri-Tac or something like that would be probably good for this. So I'm just gluing this first piece down, and then I'm going to attach the magnet the other side to it, and then I will put the adhesive. That way I make sure that those magnets line up exactly how I want them. And then I'm just going to hold them in place until that glue dries. It dries pretty quickly. So I'm just going to leave that clip on there until it's secure, because I don't want to try to separate the magnets while the glue is wet, if that makes sense. So this is pretty much the way that my journal is going to be. Like you can see, kind of, it just wants to open. So I will do a permanent closure on it after the end of the month, but I will put like a ribbon or something around it for temporarily, which you can see here. And I did add a little bit to my cover just to decorate it. I have some music paper back there. I have a couple of Tim Holtz ephemera pieces just to give it a little interest. I may decorate it more down the road once January gets started, but you can kind of see here now how that flap works. And then that pocket will hold my prompt list and everything. So anyway, that is my junk journal for Junk Journal January. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.